So, I'm here with Shizzy and Jizzy. They've been popping recently in the industry, and one thing we all have in common is our love for the Lord.
Yes.
So, figured we'd have some talks today. A lot of people, I guess, on my channel know my story with like God and stuff. So it'd be cool to hear your guys' like how you got into it. You know, you guys have been blessed recently on the socials, so I think it's good to get back to God. So you guys, I don't know, how did you get into faith, whatever, and how has it helped you?
Okay, so first of all, name is Sam. Probably a little easier, but I think for both of us, we grew up in a, what do you call it?
Christian household.
Christian household. So that definitely steered us in the right way.
Mom was a God-fearing woman.
Yeah, our mom was great, seriously. But I think for both of us also, there were times when we strayed away. So for me, that was probably about two years ago when I was in California.
Yeah.
And I mean, after that, like, there's a lot of stuff that happened that we can get in later, but like, I really needed to dial in for my own like well-being.
Yeah.
So like, there's like times in life where you really like you get a wake-up call, and that was mine.
Yeah, you like rock bottom almost.
Yeah.
I feel like
No, I was like, I was homeless. I was just, it was a terrible spot, and you know, ever since then, I've been meeting good people, doing good things. You know, keeping my head on my shoulders, just doing my best to like give the glory where it's due. You know, I can't do really any of this by myself.
Do you feel like you're closer to God now than you were
Oh yeah,
last year?
For sure. Even in the past like couple months, I feel like more centered because I have like, it really boils down to like having people in your life that keep you like steady.
Keep you
like,
aligned and stuff.
Because you can't expect yourself to be perfect like every day, like, day in, day out. You gotta have like a good support system, and then you can find that through God and like just people that genuinely love you. So
yeah, and you are you surround yourself with. I always notice when I'm like surrounded by people who aren't like God fearing or have that, like, it definitely pulls you away from it, which is like never good. Like when I went out to link up with George Janko and like some of these guys who are like Elevation, it like makes me like feel like I'm doing something wrong when I'm with them. I'm like, damn, like like I feel like I'm always like a spiritual guy for everyone near me, but then when you have no one God in you, it like can like make your faith lack. So when I'm around these people who are like more spiritually filled than me, it like helps out a lot.
Right.
What about you?
Yeah, so like same deal. Grew up together, me and Sam. My name's Sean, and I'm 27 years old, so I'm kind of old. So this is gonna be like I'm sitting you down and having a conversation. Listen to me, boy. But yeah, so I guess what happened with me was like we grew up with I had 5 siblings, so it was like my mom couldn't really like pay attention to each and every one of us, and just kind of went my own way, man. I dropped out of high school in 9th grade, and I moved out of my mom's house.
You dropped out of 9th grade?
Yeah, bro.
What?
Yeah, so like I dropped out in 9th grade, bro, and like I moved out, and I tried to live with my friend, and they wanted custody of me so I could go back to my like high school, and it just didn't work out, and I was just a young dumb kid like listening to rap music, and I wanted to be like cool, so I ended up like robbing some guy and his neighbor, and I got kicked out of that house, so I had to leave. And I moved in with my older sister in Rochester, and she was a crash out, as you would say. Right?
Crash out.
She was a crash out, and so like I was just I think I was like 16, but I was like bus boy, and then when she'd want to go get drugs, like I'd go get drugs for her.
Damn, bro.
Like at the block at the corner, bro. I was like pretty like.
So you was like in like the. I come up from the suburbs. I really know nothing about all that. I left my doors unlocked at night, you know.
That's crazy. Yeah, you couldn't do that there.
Had 2 fridges. So that makes me feel like blessed. Like I thought, like even though I had like a bunch of mental problems, whatever, in my testimony, I feel like I had it rough at some points, like with my family and divorce and whatnot. It always like gives me gratitude when I see people like at least I didn't have to
do that. But I mean,
drugs.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like it was like I love the fact that happened though. because now like what I was witnessing and what I was experiencing was like being apart from God.
Yeah.
And so like when you live that life that you're like, oh, like you're really not like even looking at God or considering God, it's a very like dark and lonely path, bro.
Yeah.
And when I guess like once I like met the Lord in rehab when I was 20, like to like fast forward 4 years of just drug abuse. I mean, I met the Lord when I was 20, and it was like the biggest breath of fresh air ever, bro. Like I was just like, this is it. Like I knew it was it. I knew that He had the power to change my life. So it's been 7 years since I met the Lord. Dang. Yeah, I'm 27. Like, it's so crazy to think about. Like, but it's just like my time here on earth has just been blessed these last 7 years, man.
Yeah, I feel like once you actually genuinely meet God and like open up to it, it's just life has a whole different meaning to it. Like the things that you thought would bring you value, and that never will. Like money, fame, success, all that. Like I always tell people, when I had like no money, no cloud, I was honestly just as fulfilled, if not more, because I had less to worry about. But I had Jesus, you know what I mean? So it's like people think that's like cat, but it's like it's so real. Remember that song I was playing in the car, Too Good to Not Believe, and it talks about like the cancer disappeared, like all that. That song's so good, bro.
So
and it's like it's so true too.
I think a big thing like these days, people like I myself have struggled a lot with like loneliness, and in my past relationship, when like things were the worst, I would say, in my faith, I was like super distant. And I was with this person every day, spending like every moment, but like I felt the loneliest in my entire life because like deep down, I didn't have that thing that I really needed. And like now, like I genuinely can feel like at peace being alone because I know I'm not, you know, and like it takes a while to develop that like mindset, and you get caught in like these negative thoughts. But like if I can give any advice, like really like get a relationship with God, because it literally takes you to the next level in like mental clarity. I mean, I still struggle with a lot of stuff. Like, I mean, we'll get into anxiety and stuff. Cause that's something being
we got the exact same like anxiety, like psychotic, like
and it's tough, you know, because like I feel like I preach God a lot, or I try to, and I love Him, He loves me. But like when I have anxiety and fear, it feels like I'm like betraying Him, because I shouldn't have that fear if I do know that He's there for me.
Yeah, like trust in Him. Yeah, I struggle with that sometimes.
And I feel like, do I really trust in Him if I have that fear? Or like, is it something I can control right now? And like, so I get caught up in this like feeling of, I don't know.
That's real.
Unworthy.
I think sometimes it brings you back though. I feel like, cause like I had it really bad, got healed from it, and now I'm having it again really bad. But I think it is making me, in almost a sense, like God is letting it happen to me again, because it's drawing me towards Him again in a way. Where like you have to have your valleys to appreciate when you're at a peak. You know what I mean? So like, if you always felt close to God and everything was cool, you would lose the appreciation for it. You know what I mean? Like if you always had cracked workouts, you would. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like having the two cracked ones a lot like makes you appreciate lifting again versus if like it's always good and dope, like you learn to like not have gratitude for it.
Yeah. You have can you swear on this?
Yeah.
If you have like a shit pump and like you go on the next day and you like, I'm not having that. And you get the most juicy, creamiest pump. You know?
Too like I feel like in my past, I used to like always think God was not there, like non-existent. But then like now, after getting past all those like hardships in life, you see how He was like working there the whole time, building you into the man you are today. And He was building us up to be people who would have a platform and will be able to speak to these kids who like look up to us in a way to tell them like there is hope, there is a God, and there is a Savior named Jesus Christ, and that when you put your wholehearted faith into that, and you learn to trust Him and develop an intimate relationship with Him, not just go to church on Sundays, but actually talk to Him as He was a father figure. It can save your life. It can change your life when you put your alignment with the alignment of God and you submit to God's will, bro. Your life can completely change. And you might not blow up and get punched. I'm not saying that's what happened.
No, I mean, but who cares? At the end of the day, if you have a relationship with God, you're like the richest person in the world, bro. I think of like life with God and life without God is like there's drastic difference, but we live the same life. Like we wake up the same. You know, we go to sleep the same, we eat the same foods and all these things, but we have hope. And that hope is like able to give us the strength in the worst parts of life, man. And like one thing I think what I would like compare life to is like a building of a sword. And like how you're saying like you're going through anxiety and then you got healed and then now you have it again. The same thing with me, bro. And I was just thinking as you were saying that, I was like picturing like a sword. Like you get a lump of iron, you get heated up, you get beaten down, you get freaking dunked in some water and you're freezing, you're cold, shocked, but then you get warmed up again, and you get beat again, and then it keeps happening until you're a glistening piece of metal, dog. You know, like sharp as
great sword.
So like
that's dope.
It's like your life is going to continue to have these stages.
Yeah.
But like, do you trust the hands that are handling you? You know.
Yeah, I like to look at like this, like the life of Job in the Bible, and look at how like, bro was like such a good servant of the Lord, and then God like basically the devil wanted to test him, and God allowed it, and the devil basically took everything from him, his family, his livelihood, and he still chose to praise God at the end of the day. It's like inspiration to me, because like all the times over in life where I feel like distant or like I don't know, I feel like I'll feel like I have been blessed with so much and that I get too like used to it and comfortable with it, and then like I'll have to have like God come in and like test me in a way, and then that'll like bring me back to him and stuff. But Job is inspirational. Like when you have nothing and you still choose to praise, I feel like everybody should have a heart that was something like that.
It's funny that you mentioned Job because I remember he suffered from like what was it?
Like a rash or something.
Like and it's crazy because that year that I was like the most distant with God, I had this crazy all over my body like
he looked like a leopard, bro.
Yeah,
really?
Yeah,
it was weird.
And it was like it was literally.
He looked like he had leprosy.
Yeah, I'm not playing. And like I was like in the moment or afterwards, I was like, bro, that's exactly like what was happening with him. Like, he lost his wife, lost my girl.
Yeah.
I had all this like it was just the craziest like realization that I am not doing the right thing right now. I don't know. I'm not gonna say like that was correlated with God, but maybe it was just like my mental space wasn't clear, and it just affected like things literally, even down to like my own health, well-being, skin. It's crazy. You gotta like be in tune, because like your own mental health takes a toll on everything.
Dude, like he moved in with me in Boston, and I've never seen him this skinny before. Like he was like not good.
I was I was 160 pounds last year.
Dang, so you came up a bit.
Yeah, like but that
It's mental, dude. Mental.
Yeah, no, my mental was rocking me, bro. Like I wasn't working out, I wasn't eating. I just like I was in constant fear. I couldn't leave. Like I couldn't drive. Like I've like.
That's what I was.
Yeah, I couldn't drive.
Stuck in my house.
It was like the worst feeling, and like
that's the worst.
Honestly,
it's depressing.
Yeah, but like God, like in two situations now, has had Sean, like he was there for that time, and now I moved back to my mom's. That didn't work out, and now I'm back with my brother again, and like I feel like both times, like he was like I don't know if God set him, because like growing up we weren't there. For
I hated his bro.
Growing up we weren't there for each other, but like. These past 2 years, like we've really made up for lost time, because we've built like a brotherhood through like the stuff we've been through. You know, like we talk to each other. We went through like
the hardest kind of situations,
like the trauma. We just try and build like a strength through God.
Like a brotherhood, bro.
Man, it's important, because like you can have family, but that doesn't mean they're family. Like you gotta really nurture those relationships, because they do mean a lot.
That's dope. You guys got each other though, for sure. That's lit, bro. I just had like a brother or something growing up.
Brother in Christ.
Yeah.
No, seriously.
Yeah, no, that's true. But I feel you with that. Cause like, so him and I are like very similar. Like we were like
too similar.
We were having anxiety. We were eating food at the restaurant. We couldn't eat our food.
Yeah.
And I was like, bro, I'm having anxiety right now. And you were like,
I looked up, I was like, no way.
Both of us have full plates on. Shizzy's food's gone. I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick.
Both of us were like, we were pointing out like we've never met. I don't know. I've never met anyone with like the degree that I have it. and like it's the craziest thing for me to meet, Alex, some dude I've never known, but I've seen him on the internet for the past few years, and like he happens to be struggling with the exact same thing I am.
Yeah.
And that makes me feel better in a sense, but it also like it inspires me to really try and like just nail this down and just help as many people get through it as possible, because like it is a debilitating feeling. Like it limits you. It limits you so much from like experiences, opportunities.
Yeah, having fun and like
that's
enjoying,
the last thing I want to do.
Yeah, like when we're having a nice little lunch or whatever, dinner, and then next thing you know, we're fighting anxiety. And you have to put on like a front and like try and fake that you're okay. It's like annoying. Like when y'all first came here, I had a panic attack and I was like trying to like, I was like, yo,
too big.
I'm good. I was like gonna like take him to see the Elysium gym when they first got here, and I was like, there's no way I can drive right now. I was like, I'm gonna end up having a pit, like I'm gonna end up like passing out the wheel. So I was like,
that shit would be cool. That would be crazy, bro.
So they came in, and like I put on like some worship stuff. He started talking, and then I ended up finding out that he had the same thing. I had like a good deep conversation when I was sitting out there. Even during this, like the whole time, it's like my breathing's weird, but like I'm like learning to fight through it because I'm not letting that shit have hold of me again. Bro. When it had hold of me, bro, and I was like stuck in my house, staying inside all the time, that shit, like I ain't letting that happen again. So,
dude, I don't know, like I've never had anxiety, but like being here with both of y'all, like I've had the most anxiety I've ever had in my entire life. No, like seriously, bro. Like last night, I was sick. My stomach felt ill.
Really?
From anxiety, bro. And I literally had to grab my journal and start writing my feelings.
For real.
Because I was like, I need to figure out what this is. Bro, I felt like eventually it turned into me writing to God like a letter. Like, God, remember the days when of my youth. Like, I felt like David, bro. I was like, remember my days.
Yeah.
Like, give me your Holy Spirit. Destroy this fear. You like use me. Like, put your hands on me, God. Like, I'm sorry. I felt like I was repenting, bro, like for something, but like I couldn't put my finger on it. But like I just want to say that like I was trying to work through those emotions, and all that helped me was like trust God, believe that God is going to be. He is there for you. He will give you he'll give you peace, bro. And I had to like drill it in my head because everything else was telling me that it wouldn't work.
So what time was this last night?
3-4 o'clock in the morning. Yes.
Wow.
Like I wish I could go grab my book right now and just like show you like 4 pages full of words.
I feel like journaling would be good for me. I wonder if I should start doing that.
Just like I'm
writing down your thoughts and like what you want.
I'm not a journaler or whatever. I just hate like writing like, hey, this is day number 4 of this journal. But last night was raw. I said, God, I know you're reading this right now. So this is what I have to say. And I just was like...
Yeah, it's important to have some sort of outlet because anything that you keep internalized is going to just bubble over and cause even more issues. So like whether that's having someone you trust to talk to about it, or like he said, a journal, praying, playing music, just like you have to have an outlet for these pent up emotions because like I said, those don't go away until you keep express them.
It all comes out. And then music and like worship music and singing for me helped a lot. That's when I first started. Bro, I'd be playing guitar and I would start crying as I was saying the words of the song. Like I memorized every single worship song I'd be playing. Like I feel like I know every single word of all of them. And to me, it's like a prayer almost when I'm like playing it and singing it. It's like praise to God, but then it's also like the words of the song is what I want to communicate with God. And it's like a dope way to do it. So,
bro, what's that verse that's like God says like a contrite heart and a broken spirit I will not despise.
Look it up.
Yeah, like it's in the Psalms. And a contrite heart, right there. Yeah, Psalm 147:3. What does that say?
In the NIV, my sacrifice, O God, is a broken spirit, a broken and contrite heart. You, God, will not despise. Psalm 51:17.
The sacrifice is a broken spirit. Like I feel like that is something that you can go to God with, bro. It's like this is what I have, and He likes he
wants to, He wants you to
that
give it to
openness,
Him,
bro.
Yeah, it's like
vulnerable.
Yeah. I always say that. Even this alone, like, I know people are gonna love to see this side of you guys, and I recommend you all do stuff like this or your content, just because like it might not get the most amount of views, clicks, whatever, but like if as long as it helps one person, I always say this, every single life story video I've done, like my main video on my channel, pretty sure when you go to it,
I'm probably
this, 840,000 views too on it. And I'm just crying and talking about how God saved my life. Like as long as it helps one person bring him to the Lord, you're saving an eternal life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that video you did on TikTok that had like over 1 million views, I guarantee you that saved somebody's life.
Yeah.
And that's the most important thing at the end of the day is like, yeah, it's cool to get someone to motivate them to go to the gym. What's even cooler is to get someone to save them from depression, anxiety about leading them to Jesus. That's more fulfilling than, you got me into the gym.
Yeah,
like,
cool.
Does so much. Like that's cool, I guess, whatever. But you tell me, bro, you brought me to Jesus. Bro, you helped save me from depression, from anxiety. I was going to kill myself, but I started watching your content, saw your testimony, and now I'm a follower of Christ. Like that is so fulfilling, bro. If you ever do these meet and greets, I've had people come up to me and tell me that, bro. I start crying because like I know how bad it was for me. How I used to feel. So using your brokenness and you being vulnerable allows people to be healed. Like look, if I click on this video and I show you these comments, like the comments are just crazy. Like it's just 17-year-old. I've had people who are like 13, 14, 70 letters how they're struggling with depression, anxiety, and how like me being open has helped them, like addiction, extreme depression, I'll go through and read these, and this is a healing process for people.
Depression and like all these like mental health issues are so like prevalent these days because like honestly I think the internet is a catalyst.
So bad.
It's a catalyst for so many negative things. Like yes, there's a lot of positive. Like our careers are from the internet, but like there's a lot of negative things on there that like will just nail you down if you don't have the right mindset. And for me, I feel like I don't like, and I still struggle with opening up too much because I have this fear of judgment. But that's
like the devil, bro.
Yeah, but that's the one thing about God is that like He's the one person I know that there's no judgment in anything I say. Because whatever you say, He's already forgiven you.
That's power. That's
so,
power.
Like, there's nothing to worry about, and that's what gives me peace. It's like if I don't have anyone to talk to at the end of the day, I just I send one up.
Yeah, bro. You're never too. I always tell people they're never too like far gone. Too like some people who think like they're unworthy or like I've done too much wrong or like I don't know. Some people or they don't even want to open themselves up to it. And I feel like a lot of people subconsciously maybe don't want to believe in God because they're afraid of believing in a higher power because then that holds themselves to a moral standard that they don't think that they're ready to do because they want to live for the world. But when you find out that the things of the world will never satisfy you, the way that Jesus does. Like for me, I always tell people like, I've had it all. I've had money. I've had no money. I've had a lot of sexual relations. I've done everything. I've drank. I've smoked in my past, which I haven't talked a lot about. But I never got like addicted to it. But I've done it before. I've experienced every single pleasure this world could literally offer you. And I still can say without a doubt that the most satisfying experience that I've had is me in my bathroom playing my guitar, singing to God, and feeling God's presence. That is more fulfilling than anything that you can like see. And a lot of people are like, "Oh, I don't want to change my life," or like they think that Christianity is like judgmental, like, "Oh, I gotta live by these commandments." And I like told my friend the other day, I was like, the commandments or whatever. We first were under a new covenant, which is a covenant of grace through Jesus Christ and like mercy. But the commandments, when you look at them, it's not like, oh, I have to obey every single one of these. It's you. What I like to do is I look at them and I'm like, I cannot do this. I cannot live to this standard at all. But it points you to the person who is able to live to that standard, which is Jesus Christ. So then you align yourself with Jesus, you make him your role model, and then over time you have a change of heart, you become more like Jesus and less like the world. But like that's what I love. People that think like, oh, Christianity, I can't do this, can't do that, can't do that. That's not how you have to look at it. You look at that and you say like, I can't actually live to this standard. And then that makes you submit it, you know what I mean? And give it to God and stuff. And then you still will mess up. And then when you mess up, it just gives you more grace and you have endless second chances. That's not to mean like you take advantage of it, you know what I mean, of God's mercy and stuff, because that's when the change of heart comes in, and that's where repentance comes in, and like I'll have times where I struggle with that. I feel like I'm taking advantage of God's grace and mercy, but still there's times where it'll draw me back in, and then I'll realize what I've done, and you ask for forgiveness, and every single time he's going to forgive you as long as you come with a repentant type of heart, you know. But
a lot of people like have these debates like whether God is real or not. And what's like one thing that you could tell if anyone's watching this that like they don't know if God is real?
Bro, it's just I used to get into debates on this all the time. I used to study them, like Ravi Zacharias and Kent Hovind, different people I used to listen to. Frank Turek, Dr. Frank Turek is good. Watching them, but bro, I mean, a painting needs a painter, creation needs a creator, a building needs a builder. I mean, is creation not more complicated than a building? If man could make a building, what could make the universe, like the alignment of the universe and the specific like things of it? Like I think Joe Rogan had a guy come on. He was talking about like how the percentage of it to be this precise and to work out in this like uniform universe. I mean, think like a Big Bang. What does a bang create? Destruction. Does it create order? Does it create life? You know what I mean? So for me, it makes more sense to believe in something, to die believing in something rather than dying not believing it and then being wrong, because then you're having eternal. This goes to Pascal's wager. I don't know if you ever heard of that. It's that you benefit more, like I'll even show you one here. You benefit more from being a believer in something than not. So this is like the wager. There's more to gain believing than to not. So wager on God existing, and God does exist, you have an infinite reward. Wager on God exists, but there is no God, you have no loss. You just die. You know what I mean? You wager on there being no God, and there is a God, you end up having an infinite loss. If you wager on there being no God, there is no God, there is no reward. So there's more benefit in believing in a God than there's not believing in a God. So then if you believe in a God, then you have to figure out which religion is right. You know what I mean? There's Islam, there's Christianity, Buddhism, like so many.
Yeah, right? I think a big reason, at least for me, maybe that I can tell you guys why I think God exists is it's kind of simple and I don't know, but like it's because I am here still. I think because like through all this adversity, like there have been times, and I feel like all of us, this is a common theme, like we don't know if we can keep on going. Like that's like it's like I've struggled with thoughts of that in the past, like on and off, and that's like it's not easy, you know. But the one thing that like kept me here, like for real, is like there's that voice in your head, and I know who it is, and he's telling me like, I have a plan for you. I brought you here for a reason. You know, I'm laying the path out for you, and like I just need you to stay here because there's a reason.
You gotta thug it out.
Yeah. So like there is a reason you're here for real.
I mean, we're living proof, living testimonies of Jesus Christ. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Me and Sean came from nothing, man. Like I think like
you guys are about to have
well, go from the Toyota to the Maybach, but it's like. It's more than just the material thing. It's like
the broken.
We came from a broken house, a broken heart, a broken spirit, and like we're slowly being built up, like brick by brick. And you know we can't attribute that to anyone other than God. Like yes, we put in the work in the gym, we put in the work in the internet, whatever. This like these little things. But like deep down, God is the one that's really pulling the strings.
He's
pushing you on the house.
Yeah.
He really
He's
is.
the one giving us. God is giving us the pumps. Giving us spiritual pumps.
We got a God-given pump.
That's why I tell you guys, I urge y'all to just always, as you blow up on socials and get crazy on it, like to stay humble, to stay true to God, to realize you're a steward of what God gives you. So it's not yours, it's God's. So you know, to use it and to glorify Him, to post whatever Bible verses, to try and bring others to Him in as many situations that you can, regardless of whatever hate or people being like, yo, why are you bringing God in your content? Like, shut up, bro. Like, you can just watch a different influencer.
There's so many people I feel out there, influencers, that will have like a strong relationship with God, but they'll be scared to put it online because like they're scared of that judgment. But having a great relationship with God is knowing that you have to be okay with people like casting you out, all this, because you know what you're doing is right. You have to have that moral ground to just like stick to your truth, preach it, no matter like, you know, you're not gonna get stones thrown at you, obviously, but like words, you know, words hurt just as much as stones, I would say.
Yeah, people are gonna say too that like, yo, your faith is fake. People tell me all the time like, yo, you're a fake Christian. You're just saying this, so like people like feel bad for you.
Yeah.
I guarantee you that the people who are saying that, they might claim to be Christian, but they don't have the heart of God. Yeah. If they're saying those kind of things, they don't have the heart of God, bro. Because God doesn't look at you and say, yo, you're so fake, dude.
Yeah.
No, bro.
It's God's place to judge. It's that simple.
Yeah, bro. I'm still broken. I still be messing up, but I mean that's why Jesus died on the cross. I mean, if that didn't, I mean, if I couldn't be forgiven, or if I was, not sinning, then if I didn't sin, I mean, there was no reason for Jesus to go to the cross in the first place. No. You know what I mean? So, I don't know, but I urge everybody to look into faith, specifically Christianity. The Case for Christ helped me out with I needed logical reasons once I dove deep into it. So the Case for Christ helped. That was a good story, a true story from an atheist becoming a believer. But I think just logically, bro, I mean, when you look at the life of Jesus 2,000 years ago, the same way I can look at Abraham Lincoln's life and go ahead and see it, the documentation of it, if there was a man claiming to be God and he actually died and came back to life, I think that is proof that he was God. Imagine being a disciple, right? Yeah. 2,000 years ago, following this man who was claiming to be God. Mm-hmm. And you know that you guys are all being persecuted, right? By the Romans and by the Pharisees, right? And you saw that man you thought was God die up on a cross and he never came back to life. What would you do? Probably go into hiding, knowing that you were going to be next. Yeah. Right? You would probably be like, he isn't who he said he was. Yeah. I was following a fake dude. Don't kill me too. Yes. Right? The thing is, the exact opposite happened. That the disciples went to the ends of the world, a lot of them dying as martyrs, and they had to have seen the risen Christ. Because what would you, if you saw him come back to life, you're like, all right, you actually are God. Yeah, really tell me what to do, and I'll do it. If I gotta go die for you, I know that I got a reward waiting for me in heaven. So I'll go preach your word. If I die, I die. And that's exactly what happened. Is these disciples literally did that. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that you'd have to have a driver have to have seen something in order to be able to do that. Right. There's no way I would be willing to go to the end of the world, willing to die preaching the sky as God, unless I actually saw the risen Christ. Because if the disciples saw him not come back to life, meaning he was a fraud, they would have all went into hiding.
Yeah, they would give it up.
So history itself proves that something happened 2,000 years ago, and I believe that was that Jesus Christ rose from the dead. And the whole foundation of Christianity relies on the resurrection. Because if the resurrection didn't happen, then Christianity is completely fake and it's fraudulent. And Paul even states that in the New Testament. He talks about that if Jesus didn't rise from the dead, we're still dead in our sins. So, looking at the resurrection historically, if you're like me, you needed actual proof. Because the Case for Christ shows you that it takes just as much faith to be an atheist as it does to be a Christian. So I'd rather be on the side of the Christian because, again, Pascal's wager. Right. Infinite reward is better than infinite loss.
What do you have to lose?
We can all agree on that. Yeah, there's nothing to lose really doing it. You'll think, I lose being able to do drugs or drink or all these things.
You find comfort in other things, though. You find comfort.
You'll see that'll never fulfill you, though. It might fill a temporary void or gap. That's why people at the top, the most richest, wealthiest people in the world, are the most unfulfilled, depressed people. And you see them killing themselves because they don't have God. There's this hole in your heart. If you try to fill it with clout, with money, with sex, with drugs, with alcohol, any of that stuff, you try to fill it, you'll be left unsatisfied. It might fulfill you for a few hours, but you'll always have that void that's not there. And you see that the only thing that can fill that is an infinite thing from the person who created you, which is God. So I always urge that to people. If they feel like they're missing something and they're like, oh, once I hit this follower count or this amount of money in my account or this relationship works out, then I'll be happy and fulfilled. That's not at all what you're looking for. That's so fake. You're looking for God. So just try it one time and see how it works. It's simple as a sinner's prayer. Just go in your a room by yourself and ask God to reveal himself to you and come to him with a vulnerable heart, being I don't know what I'm doing in life. I don't know if you're real, I don't know if you're there, but I want to open myself up to you. So if you are real, please show yourself to me in some way and I will give my life to you. I don't want to live on my own means anymore.
Yeah.
And I urge everybody to do that at least once, and I am so confident that God will find a way to reveal himself to you, whether it's through the word, through an event, through a dream, something like that. But I believe that'll happen if you open yourself up to it and just humble yourself. Everybody's got an ego and they're afraid to submit to a God. Bro, you're not that dope. You're not. Humble yourself, bro. Being humble is kill your ego. That's what I mean. The Ego is the Enemy book, good book, Ryan Holiday. You're not dope, bro. Kill your ego. Even having all the clout, whatever followers, money I do, I know I'm not dope. God's dope. So
And this is kind of steering off topic, but I got a comment the other day, and it was about a kid and his relationship with this girl, and he was asking me how I thought it was gonna go for him, longevity wise. I don't know why he was asking because I don't know the relationship. Yeah. And the advice I gave him, it was really simple. It was just, if God is in the center of your relationship, there's really nothing that can happen negatively to it. Because I think a lot of people, they will get into relationships for obviously, I don't know what you want to call it, but those worldly
Yeah.
Worldly
She got the
reasons.
plumpy.
Yeah, she got the plumpy. You can't help but be human once in a while, right?
Yeah,
It's like the initial attraction is there. Like I don't know. It's hard not to lust as men. I know.
Yes, it's worse.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's my biggest thing, I would say.
Yeah, dude.
But like I've noticed
I'll let you go.
in all my past relationships, like God has been just gone from all of them. And, like there's a reason it happened the way it happened, and I was confused in the moment. I was like I would ask him like, why are you doing this to me? Why are none of these working out? But it was as simple as like I just prioritized the wrong things every single time. Like time and time again, I would put this a woman on a pedestal, on his throne. You know, like I took him. I said, move away, and I put this woman up there, and that was the worst possible thing I could have done.
Yeah.
It's a disrespect to him and like everything he's done for me. And it's just like you should never make anyone your idol. That's why like I also get these DMs like, you're my idol, bro, and like I can't take that positively. Like I'm okay with like people looking up to me, but when people call me an idol, like it rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah, you gotta idolize who we idolize, which is God. You know what I mean? Jesus. So, but I feel the relationship thing. I was telling y'all like, if you're not a Christian, if you don't understand like I remember when I used to be like a surface level Christian, I was like, cool, like Jesus is cool, whatever, I believe in him. And then when I like actually dove deep in having an intimate relationship, you learn to appreciate and experience like the actual love of Christ, being like, you're so unworthy and undeserving of it. And like when I think about when I sinned, it's like I'm putting Jesus up on that cross every single time. And when you look at like how he died, like from a scientific standing point, it was the most painful, excruciating death a human could experience. And he's doing it willingly for you. When you experience that love for it, like there's a verse like, I mean, when you're dying for somebody who doesn't deserve it at all, and you're just willingly doing it, that type of love is a love by choice. And like when you experience that love that Jesus has for you, it allows you to translate that love into your own relationships, which is like the society has so wrong today is like we love off of a feeling, which is a feeling of lust at the end of the day, which is the worst way to love because there's no foundation to it. But when you learn to love the way God loves you, and you love a woman that way or a friend that way, it's a love by choice, meaning they could do whatever they want to you. They could cheat on you, they could hurt you, but you still choose to show them that love. But the thing is, if they have that same love for you, that's like the most beautiful thing in life. When you both selflessly love each other, you pour out all to them, but they pour out all back into you. And that relationship is like what's tight. When they experience the same love of God and they can translate that to you, like there's no way that fails. Because if it does fail, it means like either there was lust involved or like they didn't love you the way that God's supposed to love you. They didn't love you by choice. They loved you because of an infatuation feeling. They say, oh, I fell out of love. It's complete, utter bullshit. You don't fall out of love. Like, what is that dumbass, like, I'm sorry for cursing, bullshit. Like, I hate hearing, I fell out of love with him. I think it's just like the spark's gone. Like, bro, that spark is going to always be gone. Yeah. You're going to try to find it in another person just to realize it's going to go away again.
Too many people just, like, they treat them like an exchange of goods, you know? That's like it, but it dials back to being selfless. Like, there's no exchange of goods in a relationship that's like meant to last. Like you have to be able to set your pride aside, love this person endlessly, and like if you both do that, like there's literally nothing that will.
It can't go wrong.
Yeah, but like the whole like exchange of goods things, that's always been like it's been weird to me.
Yeah.
I've been so fixated on being like the best man I can be for a while, and one thing that has been bothering me lately is having this identity of being like granted my physique and everything, I've worked hard for it, but like being like the big dude, like the super strong dude, and like you let these things get to your head as a man. You're like, okay, cool, like yeah, like I'm big, I'm strong, I'm all these things. But like I think last night when I was talking to God, it was more so like I'm nothing. I'm not these people. Like if I'm like before you, I'm not. I'm just you. I'm your son. Like that's it. Like, and I feel like if you carry that as like a man, and you have this humility of being like I'm under you.
Yeah, that humble, bowing almost, like that type of posture.
Yeah, dude. And then you walk into a relationship with that covering, bro. Like I'm not serving you. I'm serving God because. You might see me as a man, as a provider, as a protector, as all these things, but just so you know, like I love the fact that you find comfort in me, but I'm finding my comfort in God.
Yeah.
And once you come in with that covering, you could really just move around this world with with like so much peace.
Yeah, regardless of whatever happens, you're guarding your peace that way.
Yeah. And I was thinking about that
I
last
think the
night.
scariest thing about getting into a relationship is like, if you heal yourself or whatever, you get right with God, you feel confident in your spirituality, and maybe a woman puts up a front that maybe she's the same way, but she ends up being a certain way that like just completely moves you off the tracks again. Like that's what I don't want to happen. I want to be so like steady that no matter what she could do to me, like I will be okay. And I feel like I'm not there yet. I feel like I still have things to do to grow, where I'm going to be like invincible in the spiritual realm. Obviously.
See, that's the goal for sure. But you could guard your peace like that, you're literally like unstoppable.
Like, you're good.
Like no matter what gets thrown your way, you're like, alright, cool. Yeah, that was fire though. It's 40 minutes of just us just talking about it's dope, right? It's good. It's like a therapy session. It's like that's why I do like this little lines and podcasts. Like might not get like most amount of views, but like for me, I use it as like a therapy session, and then like I know some people are helped from it. So just a slight bit of it helping other people is like dope, the most fulfilling. You know what I mean? And I'm sure this will get clipped up and people will make like some cool edits out of it. So that'll be dope. Like motivating, hard Christian edits. That's like always the best part, like these types of things. But
Final words from everyone?
These guys are dope. So I'm happy to have met them, brothers in Christ. It's cool to see two other guys starting to pop in the industry, especially who like praise Jesus. You know what I'm saying? Like it's gonna now it's gonna be more cool because like I felt like I was like the only one for a little bit, and I was like getting like singled out. So now like y'all can spread the hate between all of us.
Nah, we're good. Right? Don't gotta do that.
So stick them.
Watch. Now it's gonna be cool to like worship Jesus now. You know what I mean? Because now we got more. It's gonna like, and I already know you guys are gonna be you're already gonna basically be at the top of the entire fitness industry. So to have people like that, and then when people look at them, they see Jesus. They see Jesus every time. It's gonna bring so much people to God. So I think that's exactly why I've been able to blow up, and you guys, because like God is like putting a hand on our platform, and as long as we choose to use it the way He wants us to, so many people are gonna come to Christ through us. And I'm not trying to take glory away from God. We're planting seeds. That's all we're doing. It's not us doing the work. It's just we're being a steward of God. We're a servant to God, and we're showing what He's done for us. And then I already know it's gonna like save lives. And my dad always told me like, imagine when we die and go to heaven. Like he always used to motivate me, and I open the door and walk into a room, and everybody in that room is somebody that I planted a seed in their life that saved them and allowed them to escape hell and come to heaven. Like imagine how dope that would be. Like what if it's like thousands of people through our platform we don't even know we touched, but we brought, like somehow planted a seed and bring them to God, and like you get to see that in heaven one day. Like the people that you had some involvement in to bring them to God. Like that's just so dope.
That would be amazing.
You know what I mean? You just open a room and you see like tens of thousands of people. Like, dang, bro! Like one person doing that. But then it's a domino effect, like you bringing someone to God, and that person brings someone to God. So it's like, and we need it. This world, like mental health is at an all-time high, especially in men. Depression, anxiety. I mean, we deal with it.
Yeah, it's
like,
real.
Yeah,
it's
like I've got.
It doesn't like your mind. It's
a powerful thing.
You can work out as much as you want, but like if your mind isn't right, man, you gotta get right.
Bro, it's it's so overlooked in today's society. Like no one's doing shit about it, and like everybody tries to heal it with like certain medicine, drugs, like therapy, whatever. But like the ultimate healer at the end of the day is gonna be God. So if you haven't tried that remedy yet, you should probably try it. So we'll wrap it up. These guys gotta get on their drive back home here soon, so I don't want to keep them too long. But thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Make sure you guys, I don't even know where I'm posting this, like, comment, sub, all that good stuff.
Stay big.
Love you guys.
Love you.